What is going on, Dominator? David Dominator here, and I made this video yesterday, but I actually wanted to make it today just because, a lot could happen and my thoughts could change. So I want to talk about the first week of the UFL. Real quick, there was news earlier this week, and I will make a whole video on it. I'll give you guys a little teaser. Let's just say for the moral of the story that the USFL enterprises have already filed two new trademarks, for Canton, Ohio and Nashville. These could be either expansion teams or relocation teams, and we did hear that if the league is successful this year, that they're going to try to move to 8 to 12. But we'll talk about that in a different video, and I'm going to try to get you guys in a good situation so we could talk about the future. So week one, oh my! So would I compare the first week to the 2020 XFL, the USFL's first two seasons, and then the XFL last year? Could you compare them all? I feel like we always have that dull game, that always happens. But this week is very slow, but you definitely could see that some teams are going to be very better than others. I think that's apparent in the first game. We'll talk about some of the biggest stories coming out of this already. Teams are looking at specific players, and I already know there are multiple teams interested in one player in particular, but they started off the game versus champions. The 2-year dominant Stallions versus the very 2-week dominant, because that's literally what they were. The Renegades squeaked into the playoffs last year and then ended up winning the whole thing. The Renegades lost 27-14. Very good start of the game. Obviously, things kind of just got let go. I felt like the Renegades just they were trying to create a running attack quick, and it was just not working. But what's crazy is every time they threw it, Perez was on point, and they were getting at least 10 yards of play. I think his first 3 throws, he already had 30 yards. So I think that they kind of just they just kind of fell apart. Stallions look like a good team, and I'm very interested in Matt Corral. Obviously, Corral's story very intriguing. Never really got a shot in the NFL. Third round pick, went to the Panthers, got hurt during a preseason game. They decided, okay, well, we're gonna go for the number 1 overall pick, and then his future was dead before it even started. I think then he was on the Patriots for a short time and then got cut as well. So this is a good opportunity for him, and even though he got pulled from this game and he came back, he played very well. So I think that that's going to be a story to look at. He's still young. I think he's like 25. Could be wrong about that, so don't jump down my throat if I'm wrong. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how he rolls. I think this team is pretty good. I mean, the Renegades, I don't want to sleep on them too much, but I think that they are going to need a lot of these teams that have already come to losses. I mean, we've seen it in these leagues before. You need to bounce back fast. They need to find their running attack, and I think overall, if they pass a lot, I think they'll be successful. The Birmingham Stallions just are coached differently compared to everybody else. And maybe we put into question, is Bob Stoops capable of this? I know they won the championship, but taking the 2020 XFL, taking the 2023 XFL, their record is not that good at all. So maybe we should consider something's wrong with coaching wise. But Battlehawks versus the Panthers. Panthers won 18-16, and in an impeccable fashion. Obviously, a 64-yard kick, and the kicker is already gaining interest from NFL teams. There's this report already that after kicking that, multiple teams have reached out, and the first team that a lot of people are speculating is very interested is the Lions. And if that is the case, obviously he just kicked it in their stadium. So maybe that's what kind of has a little more intrigue. But I mean, congratulations to Bates because that, he made, you had to make a field goal in crunch time, and he made it, and his first kick since high school, and he kicks it like that. It is very impressive. The I I'm gonna tell you guys right now, don't sleep on the Battlehawks. They started slow last year too. If you remember, they barely beat San Antonio week one. This one, I think they came back a little early. Obviously, I think they just left way too much time. Their defense isn't as strong as it once was, and I think that we'll see what they could do in week two. I think they are at home week two, and I think they'll when they get that juice because that team is and that fan base is just so amazing. I think they'll play a lot better. So then we started off week two with the DC Defenders losing to the Brahmas 27-12, and the Brahmas look like a very, very fun team. Obviously, they are the only team to win in the XFL this year so far in week one. And the Brahmas overall, I think, are the best team right now. And I mean, you could argue the Stallions, but the thing is, the Stallions didn't look great from start to finish. There was a rough patch. They were getting rolling. The Brahmas from the very start was rolling, and honestly, if you could make the argument that maybe they cooled down later in the games, and that could affect them maybe later on. Maybe we'll see the Brahmas lose some leads in this year's season. But the Brahmas looked good. I love Chase Gabbers. I mean, he's a young guy too. This league is going to depend on some of these young players, and I think Gabbers played very well, 2 touchdowns. He had a very big win. Obviously DC I think was second, maybe third, in who would win the championship this year. And I think the Brahmas overall are the better team, special teams wise, defensive wise, and offensive wise. Their offense just rolled. Their defense as well played very well, got a turnover. Um, I really have faith that the Brahmas are going to be a very good team this year. I'm excited. Uh, let's talk about destroying. Obviously, well, first of all, Brad Wing, awesome play to the center. That was amazing. But destroying having his debut, he didn't kick. He went for an attempt, missed, but it was called back. They, timeout, and then they had that trick play. Maybe that's a concern. You could argue, he was just kicking at that point. I don't think he really was trying to make an attempt, but most of the time when you kick that ball in like a practice attempt, you normally hit it like it's a normal ball. So when he missed it, it was interesting, but overall, I loved his kickoffs. I think there was only one kickoff that wasn't amazing. I think he had 4 kickoffs though, and I think that like all of them were pretty good. Like I'm not even like I'll be real with y'all. I don't even remember all his kickoffs, but the first one went down to like the 2 or the 1. And it was pretty much like that all day. There was only one, like I said, that it was maybe 10 yards, near 10 yards in. So he played very well. I'm obviously excited to see him kick a field goal for the very first time. Hopefully he makes it. We obviously know that kickers have a very big success rate coming out of this league compared to other positions. So then we finished off the game with one of the worst games of the week, the Showboats versus the Roughnecks. Showboats had a great moment, had a great touchdown moment. Are they a great team? I don't think so. I don't see it. I feel like there's a lot of things missing on this team. I think their run game is going to be an interesting thing to see. And the Roughnecks just, no pun intended, the Roughnecks had just a rough time. Like, not at all did I think that they were comfortable. Their quarterback was not the greatest, but let's not blame him yet. Obviously, we know every quarterback has a short leash in these leagues. Many turnovers, and I think the fact that they did lose, you gotta take that with a grain of salt. And just to mention with like the DC Defenders, hopefully they can get up. Obviously, turnovers affected their game as well, but the Defenders need They get to play at home, I believe, in week 2 again. So I think that they'll get an opportunity with that crazy crowd because we all know that's crazy. Think about the DC Defenders, by the way, that I didn't see from really the Roughnecks is like DC had a great defense last year, and that's really what helped them be in the position that they were in. And now their defense isn't the greatest. It's like it didn't show really good signs. It didn't show good signs early. At one point, they were getting to the quarterback. They were getting to pressure, but wasn't that great. And then obviously Roughnecks in their situation. So in the seeding as of right now of week 2, if you were to put them in a overall standing, this person says that the Stallions are the first team, Brahmas are the second in the rankings. I don't agree. I think that I think this is actually what ESPN might have them at. Oh no, okay. Because I don't agree. I really do think the Stallions just got off to a slow start, and I think that you have to take the Brahmas into consideration. The Showboats are third. Michigan is fourth. The Battlehawks are fifth. Renegades at 6. The Roughnecks are at 7. And the DC Defenders are at 8. Obviously, a lot of things could change. I would not have it like that. At least I would probably have it Brahmas, Stallions. I would put Panthers over Showboats. Put Showboats 3. Then I would put probably Battlehawks, Renegades, DC Defenders, and Roughnecks, because I didn't see anything good from the Roughnecks, to be real with you. So, and then when you look at the stat leaders so far, the passing touchdowns, Chase Gabbers has 2, A.J. McCarron has 2, Matt Corral has 1, Chase Cooks has 1, Luis Perez has 1, Brad Wing has 1. When it comes to passing yards, Chase Gabbers has the least with 158. E.J. Perry has 176. Matt Corral has 201. Case Cooks has 204, and I know I'm saying his last name wrong. Okay. Luis Perez had 214. A.J. McCarron had 216, and Jordan Teamu had the most. Now, completion-wise, it goes Jordan Teamu, A.J. McCarron, Chase Cooks, Luis Perez, Chase Gabbers, and then Matt Corral at 7. The Roughnecks quarterback, I really cannot say his last name to save my life, with 16. With passing rating, though, that is a completely different story, with Gabbers at the top and Teamu at the bottom. So, Teamu obviously leads in a few of these categories, but not those. 2 of the 3 quarterbacks are in the top 5 when it comes to rushing touchdowns. 2 Brahmas running backs, 2 Stallions running backs have both a touchdown. E.J. Perry leads the league in rushing touchdowns with 2. And I'm surprised McFarland's only 4th on this list in rushing yards. Very shocked about that. So, receiving leaders is a big deal. If you guys want to look at all these and how the stats work, look at the XFL analyst page, which is crazy. Only 3 people got sacks. That's crazy. A lot of interceptions this year. Field goal percentage. Obviously, we did not get to see Donald Delahaye, which sucks, but we're obviously going to see him tomorrow. So, or next week probably. So, I know this video was long. Just kind of should have prepared you for that, just because it's a lot to talk about. So, going into week 2, the Brahmas are going to go against the Showboats, the Renegades against the Battlehawks. The Battlehawks will be in their hometown, and then the Stallions will play at the Panthers, and then the Roughnecks will play in DC. Should be a good bounce back game for them. All those teams are either 1-1, 0-1. So we're gonna see 2 teams walk out with their first W's. We're gonna see 2 teams walk out with their first losses as well. So losses, first W's, whatever. So that is gonna be it for me. I'm gonna stream like a watch along, a big watch along for Tuesday, or sorry, my apologies, Saturday, just because there's WrestleMania, there's all that stuff. That will be over at Twitch. If you guys want to join me, should be fun. Go and follow, click the notification bell so that way you guys can get know when I go live, as well as follow me on everything down below. Uh, Thank you guys for the support on this channel. It's been awesome. Like I said in the beginning of this video, I am going to make a video about possible expansion teams, but I am going to go to in-depth on why certain cities should be available, certain teams should not, what I think they need to do to even consider expansion or relocation, and then we'll name off some cities. And Yeah, so we'll try to get that in the works. Don't expect a weekly video. Expect one definitely after the playoffs of me kind of wrapping up the season, and maybe a midway video. So realistically, we'll only have 4 videos. I just don't want to go week to week just because sometimes it's just the same business every single week, and it's just kind of, to me, it's boring. Um, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. I can't wait to make the other video. Um, and overall, I would say week 1 was a good comeback. Let's just hope they can keep the momentum. Hopefully they can also keep filling in their stadiums, because that's also one of the biggest things that is going to help them expand. So like this video, like it, comment down below. What are your thoughts on the UFL? And I want to know who's your underdog team? Who do you want to see win? Who do you think's going to win it already after week 1? Who's your favorite player so far in each team? And what's your favorite story? Because so far we have now multiple stories that are awesome, and it does. Brahmas obviously have a few people that have stories there, but Matt Corral is going to be a good one, and so is Gabbers. Because I think if Gabbers keeps balling, he could definitely land a backup job somewhere. So let me know what you guys think. Have a great night, afternoon, day, morning, whenever you're watching this, and dominate the world. Dominators, David Dominators out. Peace.